One of the biggest questions is why there was 2,750 tonnes of ammonium nitrate within a storage facility in the Beirut port, which led to the explosions that occurred within the capital. We wanted to find out as much as we could about this. So first of all, we found this publication called shiparrested.com. Now, it looks into legal affairs in relation to maritime activities. This particular article was published in 2015 and it talks about a ship called the Rosas. Now, the Rosas set sail from Georgia. Its intended destination had been Mozambique, but it stopped in Lebanon in Beirut, and that's where it stayed. Now, according to the publication, it had stopped in Lebanon due to technical difficulties, but then a legal battle ensued with regards to the crew that had been left abandoned. Now, we wanted to find out more about this and look at the different publications that were released at the time in 2013 to 2015, and we found this particular publication. In fact, this is a seafarers union, a Russian seafarers union, which detailed more about this case, the state of the crew that had been left there. But crucially, this article that was published back at the time, it said that the crew had been concerned about the type and the nature of this ammonium nitrate, that it had been a dangerous cargo that was in relation to all of this. But we couldn't just go off the back of these two publications. We wanted to get confirmation with regards to what kind of cargo was on this ship. So we contacted Lloyd's. Now, they're a maritime intelligence agency, and they had said that there was the Rosas. The Rosas had stopped in Lebanon at the time, and it did indeed have the same amount, 2,750 tonnes of ammonium nitrate. But where exactly did it set sail from? Could we corroborate all of this more? Well, Matthew's going to tell you all that.
We cross-referenced information about that Moldovan flagship, the Rosas, which you can see here with two independent sources which log information about vessels, the International Maritime Organization and Aquasis. And using that information, we then looked onto marine traffic, open source materials about how ships move and their previous track. And the coordinates that they sent us in an Excel spreadsheet led us to create this map ourselves on Google to show the route that the Rosas took from here in Georgia on its route where intended to go to Mozambique. You can see that when it set off in September of 2013, it made its way through Istanbul, briefly porting in Athens before this crucial final leg of the journey. Here it ought to have turned south through the Suez Canal or to its intended destination of Mozambique. But you can clearly see here it made its way towards the Lebanese capital of Beirut, where it made port in November the 20th, 2013. There we know it was stationed in different loading bays for an extended period of time until 8 months later it was last recorded in Beirut in August 2014 by marine traffic. So we now know the route that the Rosas took that caused it to end up in the Lebanese capital, but we still needed to know why it was there for a period of time and what happened to the contents of the ship and its crew. And that led us to contact the International Transport Workers Federation. They sent us this email. They explained that they had dealt with a legal case about this vessel in 2014, and this is what they told us here. You can see that various different authorities, administrations were contacted to intervene and assist with this case. They said the ship was likely detained for a long period of time because no money was available for the payment of wages and the crew was not allowed to leave the ship. But also crucially here, the cargo owner disappeared with the cargo documents of the Rosas. This likely meant that the ship was left unattended and abandoned. And Lloyd's listing later confirmed to us that the ship sunk in the breakwaters in Beirut in 2018. But before it sunk, there are still many key questions to be answered. Who moved that cargo onto the loading bay and onto the hangar in Beirut? And also, who knew about it?
And there certainly were red flags about this. We know that the IMO had issued their own guidance in relation to this particular substance back in 2017. Just some points here: that avoid storage of combustible or incompatible sources of heat nearby, advising and being aware of the decomposition process in relation to this particular cargo. But it's not just this. We have Lebanese lawmakers publishing on social media saying that there's publicly available letters that have been published urging action to be taken with regards to this cargo. So questions remain as to why all these red flags were there and, crucially, why they were ignored.